I am Michael Gaucher, and I'm a former top writer for Quora. In 2016 and 2018, I had the privilege of being a top Quora writer, which was no small feat, but I had many contributions that I had made to Quora in the form of answering questions and really involving myself in that community. Then I disengaged for a while. And so then recently, I noticed that my Quora notifications showed that on October 22nd, I had over 47,000 views on some of my posts. The most popular one being C++ versus Java versus Python. And what really got me re-engaged was some of the comments that people posted to those posts. And I had to make some clarifications. But then I saw another article that I had wrote that people had questions about, and that was, why is C++ so hard? How can I prove my skills? And so what I did was, um, when I wrote this, I looked at C++ holistically, and it basically goes as follows. You have asked, why is C++ hard? Learning programming from the top down can make C++ harder to learn. Familiarity with languages such as Python, JavaScript, Visual Basic, Java, C Sharp, and Ruby on Rails can give you an incomplete picture of software development. When those languages and others like them are your only introduction to writing code, C++ will be hard. C++ is not in the same class. C++ is unique and special, like C. That uniqueness, that special nature, makes it harder to pick up and apply. Easy and quick. The main purpose of Python, JavaScript, Visual Basic, Java, C Sharp, Ruby, and languages like them is to do one thing: save the programmer time writing code and create an end result with as less fuss and difficulty as possible. A working program done fast is more important in those languages than a rigorous software development process. You can add structure, but the core of those languages is such that additional structure is optional. Many languages are designed on purpose to be quick and easy. The pinnacle and state-of-the-art of C++ programming is the total opposite of this. Scratch. The Itchy and Scratchy Show. The purpose of C++ is much different. The chameleon. People hesitate to say about C++ that it is a chameleon language. A chameleon is a type of reptile whose entire skin is designed to match the thing it is on. The animal mascot for C and C++ should be the chameleon. The reason is the main purpose of those languages is to match the machine they run on. This is C++ relative to other languages. The venerable chameleon. Complexity of a chameleon. When people look at a chameleon, we think they are so awesome as a concept. How can a creature in nature just change their skin like that, blend in, and be one with nature so much as to evade destruction? We cannot understand it, because that is not how people's bodies work. A chameleon is complicated from the outside. However, to a chameleon, how they are is simple to them. They know exactly, or at least automatic instinct, to change form, sit motionless, and be the thing their skin is emulating. C++ as a chameleon. Like the chameleon, C++ matches the computer. That includes the hardware and operating system. This morphing doesn't happen automatically. Shaping the code to be that way has to occur on purpose. You are writing code in C++ that is balanced to both the machine and your intended operational process at the same time. The other languages only emphasize that second part, so when you meet C++ for the first time, there is an entire realm of possibility, unfamiliar technology concepts that throws you off. Making matters worse, working with C++, you see this chameleon nature, but may not understand it. Things get more difficult when you try to ignore it and apply C++ in the same way as other languages. If you do pure C++ 14 and C++ 17 and beyond, you can get closer, except the C++ standards bodies are moving away from the way people code today. Next generation C++ is going to be even more foreign because it is state of the art. Regardless of today or tomorrow, the missing element that makes C++ hard is when you decide to ignore machine architecture. Machine architecture. I respect the advice of experts, but will say no. You cannot just learn C++ 14 or 17 or later versions as the next thing to replace Java, C#, and Ruby on Rails. You will have to commit yourself to knowledge of machine architecture and how that relates to concepts such as pointers in C and C++, memory management, and so on. Otherwise, you end up with mysterious situations that challenge you and your ability to revise code and manage it. Compilers will then constantly give you feedback that amounts to endless rejection. C++ is really about the machine and whatever real-world idea you would encode. Functions and flexibility. C++ is not an object-oriented programming language. The inventor of C++, Bjarne Stroustrup, has hinted at that for years. The hint is ignored. Unfortunately, not even the inventor of C++ can get people to realize what C++ really is. C++ is a concept-independent programming language. Almost every programming methodology and technique ever thought up by people, you can use in C++. That is what makes C++ unique. It means that if you do not want to use object-oriented programming style, you can write code an entirely different way. The most solid code you will ever write involves nothing but pure data structures and functions, in that order. That can also be very, very hard to write because there is almost no room for excess or margin of error you get with quick and easy programming languages. Instead, writing code that way can be extremely intense and with a long wait time compared to other languages before you see real results. No design patterns. Finally, C++ is hard because there is nothing in C++ that tells you how to write code. You got to come up with your own strategy, structure, and methodology when you use C++. That is what challenges people the most because there are no hints built into C++. Like C, it is designed to make you totally free. What is the solution? A solution does exist, and it is as follows. Except that C++ is not in the quick and easy class of languages. Learn it in a scholarly way. Work with it systematically and methodically. Before you do any of those, be sure it is worth the investment. After step number 3, patience and steady improvement in your application of it. If the code you plan to write with it is of a non trivial nature, you have 2 choices. Choice number 1, learn C++. Follow the advice of the experts. Start with C++ 14, C++ 17, C++20, and beyond, and work up from there using pure C++ 14 and beyond mechanisms. If you can commit to writing C++ a certain way, this can work. Choice number 2 is my advice. Study assembly language in depth, study C, and then learn C++, because your chances are very high that a non-trivial C++ program you write will interface with very mature C code and C-style C++, which will require you to think in an entirely different way. And that is why C++ is hard for many people, but it need not be. If you follow this advice and understand that it's a language, like any language, it can be learned, and the difficulty is all in the mind. I'm Michael Gaucher, and I have a link to this article in the description and in the comments. If you'd like to view this article and upvote it or add your own input, feel free to do so either on Quora or on this platform. Until then, I will see you on the next one.